Hey FIFA fam, welcome back for one last video, this A-League sort of E-League preview mishmash. We've gone through every A-League side and looked for 2 players and 2 substitutes for these competitors for the E-League 2022. I've really enjoyed sharing my love for the A-League with you. I hope that you've learned something along the way. So let's head in to our final preview, and oh boy, what a beauty we've got in store. It's Western United. I don't know if you thought that was maybe sarcasm. It is not. Western United's team is sort of stacked and then empty. Obviously, they sort of generate their own talking points in the A-League. Here in the E-League, it's no different. Alessandro Diamanti, no doubt, one of the most, if not the most talented footballers in the A-League maybe that we've ever had. And yet, friends, I gotta be honest, even though that's a gold foot item, I personally would not be using it in the E-League due to that pace. I know he's a maestro. I know he's a genius. You know, you love him on social media too. But just for me, in the E-League and FIFA Ultimate Team, it's not meant to be. Then there's the talking point of special foot items as well with those informs, which I know has been another talking point, but I guess we'll get to that as I pick my 2 starters and 2 substitutes. You know that we got a bit to go through when their lowest rated foot item in terms of an overall rating is still incredibly quick. All right, but no more delaying. Who would be my 4 A-League players for Western United if I was competing in the E-League, representing them this year? And let's just get right into the controversy, taking a look at Lachie Wales. And if you're unaware, if you didn't see me talk about it on Twitter, I went through, as well as some of my mates, all the foot items there have ever been in A-League history, and we can confirm that Lachie Wales is the quickest of them all. In fact, his foot item is one of the quickest in the entire game, any player from around the world. So then, of course, the follow-up question is, well, Nate, you idiot, why isn't he starting for you? And that's where we take a look at the rules for the E-League 2022. I'm one of these weird, dumb people that actually quite likes rules and rule sets, and I'll go through making sure I understand things as well as I possibly can. And my understanding is that E-League competitors can only have 1 special item from their club on the pitch at all times. Now, as mentioned towards the start of the video, Western United actually have 2 special foot items, 2 informs, which simply means you can only have 1 of them on the pitch. And I've chosen the other one. That means Lachie Wales is my substitute. And just repeating, that means Wales cannot come onto the pitch unless it is replacing another foot item of the same nature, being a special inform, unless, of course, by the final caveat, he was to replace another player. That's not to do with this sort of A-League equation. There is no reason why you can't have 11 A-League foot items on the pitch at once. The best way of phrasing it is that you need to have at least 1 base item that is a gold, silver, or bronze foot item on the pitch at all times. As long as you got one of them, you know what? Bring on all the informs if you're so lucky to have them for your club. I trust that actually in my Foot Champs team, Lachie Wales does start. He was one of my finest contributors. That pace is just so fun to use. But a word of warning, that 2-star weak foot will hurt you if you're relying on it. The LDR, get it onto that right peg and you'll be fine. So if you've been following me with these rules and conditions, you might start to understand the flow of this video. Substitute number 1. It's a fullback, it's Josh Risdon. Now, let me just say, I actually expect competitors to do the opposite of what I've done. When you've got the fastest foot item in the game with Lachie Wales, you want to start him. Look, if nothing else, I'm here to offer an alternative viewpoint. Risdon has one of the best base foot items in the A-League. He has actually been quite solid and reliable for a number of years now. Decent pace matched by excellent physicals. I mean, you're getting a very reliable fullback, maybe even center back if you push it. 85 balance means when he does win that ball back, he's nice and composed. He doesn't feel to get bumped off, doesn't feel like he's about to topple over at any point, and yet he's still a substitute, which means my starter number 2 is in fact a bronze foot item in Connor Pain. I can already hear the complaints, but like I said, get in the comments, let's debate it with me. And you get the right chem style on Connor. He is dead set about as pacey, maybe even quicker than Lachie Wales. Incredible agility, fam, 92 agility and I believe 89 balance is just so noteworthy. Good stamina as well. Honestly, we've seen Connor Pain used maybe even for another A-League club in the fullback spot. Indeed, he's played there a few times before. He's been utilized in the A-League as a wing back, as a wide mid. Obviously, here he is known as a left mid. A point being, you put Connor on one of those flanks, he will run for you, he will finish, he'll get stuck into tackles even if he doesn't always complete them. Only 250 coins on PlayStation. Bargain, I say. Which means that my starter number 1, indeed, it is the other inform, the other special foot item for Western United. It's Ben Garuccio. I believe a former Adelaide United and perhaps even Melbourne City man now playing for Western United. Garuccio is simply my favorite A-League foot item to use in FIFA 22. Now, it doesn't take a scientist to work out that I'm a little bit special and I think a little bit differently anyway. So I get that for most of you, your favorite A-League foot item would probably be an attacker, but I ain't worried about the stats. We talk about the stats to try and get an understanding of foot items. It's another thing when you use them in game entirely. Benny Benz just feels great I deploy him at a left center back. I know, the weirdness just keeps on coming. There's no reason why he can't use him at his favorite left back, left wing back, left mid, something like that. I've even seen some competitors deploy him as a CDM. But as always, fam, hopefully as you've learned throughout this series, for me it's more about feel. Garuccio for me, in that left center back spot, playing with a 3 at the back formation, does not get beaten. I'll have Virgil van Dijk standing next to him. You know, you get some of the best defenders in the game, and Garuccio will be the one, genuinely, to step in and make the challenge. And I'm the type of person that likes that underdog story. You know, one of these A-League players, Australian footballers, matching it among the best foot items in the game. Was that a hot take enough to finish off the series or what? If you've used these foot items, these A-League Australian foot items in FIFA 22, FIFA Ultimate Team, let me know what you think. It's been my pleasure to take you through each and every A-League team and player. I'll see you next time for the E-League itself, starting on Saturday.